Now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PUCL Podcast.
It's PUCL! PUCL! It's PUCL! PUCL! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! PUCL! PUCL.
And welcome to the 507th episode of the PUCL Podcast. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my shining and brilliant co-host, Lord Jushiro.
Some say, my friend, good morning.
And then also, Lynian.
Hi. I won't destroy everything this time.
You won't destroy everything. But welcome to the PUCL Podcast. PUCL, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League. The nonsensical name we came up with in 2007. Though I guess we're going back to the underground, given this week's announcements. But it's going to be a good time. I'm very excited for it. We can. I don't know. There's definitely lots to talk about today, but it's been a while. Yeah. But since you guys have been around, well, not Lynian, you were on a show that I wasn't on.
That's true.
That happened, and then Jushiro, you haven't been on in a hot minute. Anything new with you? Anything exciting?
No, lots of work, unfortunately, which is how you haven't seen me around much.
That's your life.
Yeah,
I understand.
That's my life. It's work now.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. So I guess like in news outside of like, or not news, but just like stuff outside of BDSP and Legends Arceus stuff that happened this week, and I guess random other junk that we can talk about it in the news segment. I've been playing Pokemon Blue again. So that's been a fun time.
Nice.
I've been tweeting it out if you want to follow me, do more stuff. I didn't realize how, like, there's just, like, so much bad with that game. Like, so much. Like, Blue version is, like...
The first version isn't perfect? I'm shocked.
Oh, it's not even that it's not perfect. It's just that it's bad. So, like, I had this thought while I was playing it, because people always, like, ask, like, oh, the Pokemon games used to be harder. And you know what? I do agree with that statement. Pokemon games used to be harder, but not harder in the right way.
Right.
I wouldn't call, like, incessant RNG harder.
Right.
Or awful mechanics harder, because, like, my least favorite thing, I was going on to the 4th gym in Celadon City.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing there is that, like, you have Bellsprout that you have to deal with, and Bellsprout... in Gen 1, because moves don't really exist in Gen 1. Yeah, Stun Spore...
no, I know exactly where this is going.
Stun Spore slows you down, and then Bellsprout can Wrap. And Wrap's mechanics in Gen 1 are absolutely nonsense, and shouldn't have existed. Nobody should have said, hey, this is a good idea. Hey, you can't move while I'm wrapping you. By the way, we get notification that the wrap ends before the next turn. So I'm just going to click it again, and if I'm faster, I'm literally invincible. Because you can't touch me.
Yep.
Gen 1 is nonsense. Okay? Gen 1 is absolutely 100% nonsense.
Agree.
And this is putting aside the times when the game just flat out lies to you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. let's either the bugged type chart or my favorite, use focused energy to quarter your critical hit rate.
Oh,
even though the game says it was raised.
Like, this is outside of, like, I think the Wrap Stun Spore thing is worse than both of those, where, like, you have the bugs, because this isn't a bug. This is just their design.
Intended, yeah. Working as intended.
I would just, like, that's the biggest thing I'm complaining about. Also, Safari Zone's nonsense.
It is.
I try
to... Oh my god.
Every time I try to look into how Safari Zone works, any Safari Zone, mind you, like, I think outside of, like, the Great Marsh, I always go in and I'm like, I'm going to understand how this works. And then I read it and I go, I came back with zero understanding. And it's absolutely awful. Like, the one that gets me is Gen 1's is absolute nonsense, by the way. There's, like, an eating counter that can, like, randomly go down if you throw bait. But you also throw rocks, which help you increase the catch rate. But that never works.
No.
Yep.
And so, yeah, because it just re-rolls, like, a random number if you're at 0 or below on that eating counter. And it re-rolls a number. And if the number is lower than the speed of the Pokemon runs away.
You know, that actually makes a lot. Okay, I'm not saying it was a good idea.
But
for the Pokemon that they wanted to have run away, it explains why all of them have weirdly high speeds, like Tauros and Kangaskhan.
Right.
It is absolutely nonsense. Like, it is literally just a roll on that.
The old mechanics I don't enjoy, but the idea of no Pokemon, just capture, I do think is fun, but man, was the implementation just rough.
Oh no, it's a fun concept, and obviously Pokemon, like, and we'll probably talk about this later today, has been trying to come up with a game like that, right? Like an entire game where it focuses on catching. Because that is the fun part. I mean, what's Pokemon Go? Pokemon Go was that for like 3 years before they introduced PvP.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, go catch the Pokemon. Yeah. And then the same thing, I mean, I would argue Let's Go Pikachu to another extent, but I think that was a failed attempt to like find something different. And
to bring a new generation, I guess.
Yeah, I have my opinions, and I think the Direct also reflects them. But it's a thing. Yeah, I don't know. But playing Gen 1 has just been like a trip. Like, not a good one. The sprites are also like, I don't remember some of these sprites. I don't know how any of us were just like, this is a charming game. There's a picture on my Twitter right now of like the Machoke sprite from Gen 1. No, but not Machop, Machoke.
Yeah, Machoke. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Machoke looks like he's having a hernia. Like, he's like in the middle of he's like flexed too hard and he like pops something and it's not comfortable. It looks like a Muppet in distress.
It looks like it's like, all right, we're going to do the goofy picture, then the serious picture, and then they went with the goofy picture.
Yeah, I'm like, how did we ever decide, like, this is the sprite we're going for here?
Right.
How did we get such solid art going forward? At what point did someone take that and make a reasonable Pokemon?
Also, by the way, move pools in Gen 1 are absolute. I don't think move pools actually got good in Pokemon until maybe Gen 4, in terms of level up. Because in Gen 1, I have a level 27 Cubone right now that I'm raising up to a Marowak because I'm trying to do Living Dex in Gen 1. And it's level 27. It has 3 moves. It will evolve into Marowak next level. It doesn't even have a full set of moves. None of them can hit flying types because his only attack move is Bone Club. So your option is to go ahead and maybe you can go ahead and like teach him Body Slam with a TM or something. But you only have one Body Slam TM. Most of the TMs suck, to be fair. But you can do that.
Yeah.
Who needs it? Like, my favorite TM, Water Gun. Why does that need to exist? Generation 1 is a mess. That's Thatch's conclusion.
I think it should be the general conclusion, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it because I still want, like, I just want to say at this point, because I'm too deep in, that 1, I got a Living Dex in Gen 1, and 2, I 100%ed Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah,
that's all. Like, at this time, it's just it's just like a feeling of pride. Like, I just want it so I can be like, I suffered. Fun fact that, like, I've been looking into like speedrunning strategies for Pokemon Stadium. They are nonsensical, by the way, because they're just like, oh, it's faster to like use transfer pack Pokemon. Obviously, the rentals are garbage. And so, like, there's a bunch of different cups. There's the Pika Cup, I think it's called, which is like all of the low level Pokemon. You can only use Pokemon from level 15 to level 20. And the list of Pokemon they say are the most optimal, I don't think you can even catch in Gen 1. You have to catch them in Gen 2 because they want something like, because like one of them's like level 15 Gengar, and it's just like, what are you talking about? And it's because you can catch a level 15 Haunter in Gen 2. And so then you can just trade it over to Gen 1, and then you've got your level 15 Gengar. 15 Gengar. And so it's a bunch of stuff like that, which is horribly nonsensical to do. It's just like, because like I don't want to do it. I want to 100% Gen 1 with just Gen 1. I don't want to do it with Gen 2. I don't want to cheat, you know? I'm going to get the Surfing Pikachu, okay?
Yeah, I mean, whatever makes you happy.
Happy. Let's put quotes around happy.
Some people are to BDSM. You're in it for the Gen 1.
Thatch is in too deep, and it hurts his soul, and it is what it is. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, this has been Thatch's Gen 1 rant about how it's going. I do want to start streaming it, but no, I know people don't like to watch it. So I think I want to try to pick up a second night for streaming. Do a night where we do like a modern game like Unite, or we do a Nuzlocke like we have been, and then do another night where it's like more retro stuff. Maybe the Nuzlocke can still fit in there as well. But that way we can do something modern, but then also do something retro, because Thatch is really into retro gaming for a lot of reasons. By the way, if you're listening to this and you've got a Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy Color that you don't want, hit me up. I might be able to buy it from you.
We believe in not only claiming money from our patrons, but giving it back to them if they have things we like.
Yeah, well, because like I'm super into modding consoles, and they've got some really cool mods for those things right now.
Can it run Skyrim? I have to know.
Maybe. Well, so like they just came out with this really cool mod that you can like plug your Game Boy Advance into your TV with composite cables through the link port. What?
Okay.
Yeah, right. It's just like, wow, that's interesting. They also have a couple mods where you can quote unquote consoleize your Game Boys, so you can essentially like hook up an HDMI port to the motherboard. And so I want to try to like try those out and see how well they work. Last I heard, they don't work with capture cards though, which kind of makes me sad. I'm a sad panda. It's all Jushiro's fault.
It always is.
But yeah, this has been enough of the segment where Thatch rants about something, also known as the intro. Let's move on though to the news, because there's plenty to talk about.
The news.
So let's cue that epic music.
Live from the Lavender Town Radio Tower. This just in.
And on to the news. There was a lot that happened, obviously, because there's a Pokemon Direct, and honestly, the beefiest Pokemon Direct that we've had in a while.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hit everything that's not like a traditional Pokemon game, quote unquote.
I don't think we can say that right now with this
anything
Direct.
that's not a Switch title.
Yes,
there we go. That's better. Because I don't think anything's traditional in
Pokemon
this Direct.
I guess also Pokemon Unite. So start with the Pokemon Unite stuff. Have fun.
We're covering everything here that costs less than $60 off the shelf.
Yes, there we go.
We got there. Pokemon Unite had some really interesting news, and by interesting news, I mean one thing that was data mined and one thing that came completely out of left field. So Pokemon Unite, we're going to release the mobile version on September 22nd. If you pre-order it, you can get, depending on how many people pre-order, but basically just for doing it at this point, you can get yourself a HoloWare for Pikachu and a free Pikachu Unite license.
I'm glad I didn't buy Pikachu yet, by the way. This makes me happy.
Well, you get the full coin refund, but like still it feels bad.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Mamoswine and Sylveon were announced as upcoming playable characters. Sylveon was data mined. I think it's supposed to be an attacker, but we're not sure. And we don't know anything about Mamoswine other than we saw it pick up a jungle mob and then violently shake it in what can only be described as the best looking crowd control I've ever seen.
Also, Mamoswine was data mined, to be fair, but it was data mined and they didn't know what it was. They didn't know if it was going to be like, if it was going to be
a new map or
if it was just going to be a mob or what. Because I think there's going to be a new map, because like Articuno was also data mined. So we'll probably get something new, like a new map with Articuno as like the final instead of Zapdos.
Even if it's just a different skin, I'd be down.
Honestly, yes, I would be okay to not kill just an Apom.
Blissey is also in the game, and she's fine. She's fine. Really good if you've got a good lane partner. Otherwise, she's fine. She's fine.
It's okay. Yeah.
Solid mid-tier. Definitely worse Pokemon. Definitely worse supporters. But, I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
All right. So, I'm going to read this word for word.
One more thing, though. For the Nintendo Switch version launch bonus, you get the United license for Seraora. I can never pronounce him. If you log in August 31st.
By the 31st.
Yeah. That's been there since launch, but it's good to remind people it ends.
Yes, it does end. I'm going to read this for word for everybody's favorite Pokemon title. To the 3 diehard Pokemon Cafe Mix fans, the game has been rebranded as Pokemon Cafe Remix, and the game will be updated with new features, like Pokemon that eat the meals you prepare for them. They're gonna redo some of the puzzles, I guess, add new clothes for the Pokemon. I saw it and I was just like, how is this a different game? And
it's called the Remix, Thatch. Get in the program.
My honest thought on this is that they went into this thinking they were going to make either the next Pokemon Shuffle or the next Candy Crush. They thought that the marketing and the mechanics were gonna sell a ton, and then it just didn't. And they went, okay, and then took this time to say, you know what? The problem was the marketing and the mechanics, not the fact that we're trying to make a free-to-play puzzle game after 2009. So we're just gonna go again. It'll be better this time.
It's literally like the same game. They're just like, we definitely changed something. Oh, no.
I mean, there is, but the market of people who play super casual games and and people who care about Pokemon are not as big a Venn diagram as I think people expected.
You could bring back, I think you would have more success if you just brought back Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna be honest.
Pokemon fans are at their core not puzzle gamers typically. Like, I know that everyone plays something, but I just think it's a poorly aimed market. Honest
answer, we're here for nostalgia. I like it.
True, done. Right, but I think the idea that Pokemon Company has is not to reach out just for Pokemon fans. It's to use Pokemon as a theme to expand to other types of genre so they can grab more types of fans. And I'm sure there are puzzle fans that are not Pokemon fans that if they would give Pokemon Remix a try, they might like it. But to your point, how many of those are out there? That's just what we don't know.
Yep. I mean, not many. It's a very mediocre game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's it could be that the puzzle community did try to give it a chance, and they were like, nope.
All right. So let's just move on. Jushiro, you can take this next part. You got the boring part. Honestly.
I got the one news I didn't even hear in the So there's
I think it was in there for like half a second.
Okay, there we go. So there's going to be 3 new songs to be added to the P25 music campaign. Take It Home, Got 'em, and Wonderful. I don't know what any of this means, but there you go.
So they've been slowly releasing music throughout the year for P25, this like album they're trying to make. I have no idea why this album exists, because the songs aren't very Pokemon at all. They're like vaguely Pokemon at best.
Right.
And
some of them are good.
They're all like passable. The thing is, none of them are anything like the Vitamin C hit Vacation from Pokemon the first movie.
Right.
I hate that you said that, and now it's going to be stuck in my head for hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Repeat after me. I need a vacation.
I'm just saying, none of these songs are as bumping. And early like the late 90s, early 2000s are just like a gem of like, I feel like the type of music that was popular back then was just very easy to produce. And so everybody else was just very easy to make like a passable and like catchy song for any media property you wanted to. Today, I don't think that's the case.
Pop was in its all, right? But the early 2000s, the 2000s, it's all about pop. That was the key. Yeah. Pop is super easy.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Moving on then. Lynian, you've got some more for Pokemon Masters.
So Pokemon Masters is having its 2nd anniversary, and I'm not going to go over every single thing that you can do. I'm going to group it into...
much.
It's obscene in a good way. But we're going to group this into 3 major categories. The first one is events. They decided that, you know what? The Cyrus Gets Us and Sycamore events all were worth running for the Pokemon Masters event. So instead of picking one, they're just rerunning all of them simultaneously. Have fun. Of course.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be a time. I hope no one is trying to 100% all 3. Like, I know someone is, but please don't. They added a whole bunch of login rewards. So there's just like, hey, yeah, free summons, or here's some gems.
I think there's also like a special N that you can get.
Yep.
Well, it's just that N is a limited summon and N's been added back.
Oh.
So you can summon for N right now. And then there's a thing that you can do a pull, and at the end, you just get to pick a 5-star. So it's really just like a free 5-star, but first you have to watch an animation and you get some other units.
Oh, man. So I know that we talked about this, and if you watch the direct yourself, you can tell that, like, so they covered like everything Pokemon at this direct. And I was very impressed by that because I think it's the first time. It felt more like a Nintendo Direct that was just Pokemon themed than like a Pokemon Direct, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they also included Pokemon Go. And if you watch that Direct, literally the only thing I could think when the Pokemon Go segment came up was, oh, how the mighty have fallen. And because they gave it such little time, they announced 0 new things. Which I thought was like, they could have even announced like the community day, because they just recently announced the community day for September is going to be Oshawott with 3 times catch experience in September. And so like that's happening. They could have announced it there. And you know what? That would have been cool. That would have been something new. But no, they're just like, by the way, here's this thing we announced like a month ago. The Ultra Unlock Week 3 or Part 3, I guess, which is oddly Gen 8 Pokemon coming to Pokemon Go, but only very limited Gen 8 Pokemon. I think it's Wooloo and Dubwool, obviously, Squavit, and oh my gosh, Greedent. Phalanx was an option.
Good choice.
Yeah, and then you can in 5-star raids you can get Zacian and Zamazenta. Not the like crazy forms, just like basic doggo forms. So
Still
that's like
noobers.
Yeah. Also, I think all of the Pokemon that like are more likely to pop up that aren't Gen 5 Pokemon are Pokemon with Gigantamax forms. So that's like a cute little detail. But I don't know. I saw that in the direct and I was just like, man, they're spending no time on this.
Well, the game is already 5 years old.
It is. I think Pokemon Go hasn't done enough to update Pokemon Go, right? I can't remember the last time they came up with like a new mechanic. Outside, I think the last new mechanic was raids / like the gym refresh, and that was maybe like 3.5 years ago. So it's yeah. I don't think they've really introduced anything quote unquote new. I mean, Megas technically, I guess I don't know. It's been it hasn't been a lot of innovation on the side of Niantic. Let's say that. Other than like, hey, we'll drop in some new Pokemon here and there. So I guess that's the news, though. PUCL news, I don't think there's anything other than I think we announced the PUCL 500 tournament is happening. I believe I had Claude give you the spiel on that. So if the signups are open, make sure you go and check them out. You can find them on our Discord at pucldiscord.com. So on that note, I guess that's the news. So let's go ahead and click it on over to PUCL's Poke Quiz, where we're going to quiz your co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. And welcome. Thank you for reading those rules. Rule announcer guy. If it's still Mark, it's thanks, Mark. If not, it's new guy. Because Thatch is still waiting to find a new one. We are going to go ahead and start asking your co-host questions then. Our first question for you guys is going to be from Nukin Foobs. What is the only Pokemon generation not to not add a monkey/ape Pokemon?
Okay, so it's not 1 or 2, because we've got Mankey, Apom. Gen 4 has Ambipom. Gen 5 has ridiculous excuses for a Pokemon.
Right.
We'll come back to 6. 8 definitely had. 8 has too many. Huh?
No. I'm trying to remember.
8's got too many. 7 has Passimian and Oranguru. So
I guess it's 3.
Yeah, I think process of elimination. It has to be 3.
I'll stick with that.
3 is your final answer?
Yep.
All right. Unfortunately, 3 is incorrect.
What?
The answer is actually Generation 6.
Oh, we didn't eliminate them all. Whoops.
Yeah, you were between 3 and 6. I think you forgot you didn't eliminate 6.
That's true. That's exactly what happened. What?
So
wait, what was in 3?
So in 3, it's actually Vigoroth. Because in Gen 3, it counts as a monkey.
That's a sloth. It's in the name. Vigor? Sloth.
Wait,
Vigoroth.
let me
sloth
finish.
is not a monkey.
Let me finish. It's counted as the Gen 3 monkey due to it being categorized in the Pokedex as the wild monkey Pokemon, as well as taking inspiration from old world monkeys. Sloths aren't related to monkeys or apes at all, but Vigoroth is a mixture of both. This is also the only Pokemon close to a monkey in that gen.
I think that's they're related on like the family, like class level at most.
And then better than anything in Gen 6. And then Liger's hint is, or comment, I guess, not hint. Oh, the joys of Pokemon design. Feel free to give Vigoroth as a hint. I don't want good sloth knowledge to be punished.
They're both in Mammalia, but that's probably as close as they get. I reject this.
You guys got that incorrect. Our next question. You know what? We're going to do it from Liger. What is the only main series forest to not have tall grass?
So it's not in Gen... Does Ilex Forest have it?
Ilex?
Because I know that has like random grass, not grass, but like random encounters as you like it's a cave.
Right.
In Gen 2. Gen 3 had Petalburg Woods, and it definitely did. I wouldn't count the Verdant Grotto in Gen 7. Gen 5 had Pinwheel Forest, but that had grass.
Gen 6, it also had grass.
Yeah, Gen 6, I don't remember the name of the forest, but...
It definitely had
Viridian Forest.
It's where you can get the monkeys,
2.
yeah. It's basically just not Petalburg. It's basically just Viridian Forest, but again.
Did they call it Santaloon Forest?
Santaloon, yeah.
Did they call it Santaloon Forest?
And then there's like the jungle area in Gen 7. And Gen 8, all of the things have tall grass. Except like... No, because even the wild area zones have tall grass. Yeah, I think Ilex Forest.
Ilex Forest? Okay. I was going to say the place where you can find the Soroa in Gen 5, that doesn't count.
Oh, yeah, it's like Forest of Illusion, but no, there is still tall grass there.
There's still? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Because that's like, it's where you take the Zoroark, or...
Okay, so I need an answer.
I feel good about Ilex Forest, but I could be leading you astray.
I do not recall at this point, so I can go with Ilex Forest as well.
Ilex Forest is correct.
Okay.
It is the only forest where instead of spawning in tall grass like wild Pokemon, but wild Pokemon instead spawn like they do in caves in Ilex Forest. So you are correct. Ilex Forest. You guys are 1 for 2. So your next question is going to come from, it looks like Gliscor Gamer for the question for your Pokedex entry. So Gliscor Gamer goes, its Omega Ruby entry reads, their poison is strong enough to eat through the hull of a tanker, and they spit it indiscriminately in anything that enters their territory. Who's that
If it's
Pokemon?
a tanker, it's aquatic, and it sounds like it'd be a tentacle.
I think it's Dragalge.
Also?
I seem to remember it might be a different, like... Wait, what game was this in?
Omega Ruby.
So that would be theoretically old enough. Because they're like, they haunt ghost, like shipyards. I mean, like, if we get it wrong, we just get another hint, so I'm good saying Dragalge.
Okay, Dragalge it is.
Dragalge is correct.
Nice.
That is
nice,
2.
nice.
The other entry we had was from Shield. This Pokemon generates dragon energy by sticking the plume of its head out above the ocean surface and bathing it in sunlight. Dragalge.
What? That would not have helped.
Oh.
Well, it's a dragon and poison, right? So I feel like that.
I guess.
I feel like that would have to eliminate it for you. It's either this or Eternatus. So you guys are 3 for 3. Your next question is your multiple answer question, as always. You can get up to 3 points on this, guys. So this is going to be a question about the anime. In the anime, there are, I believe, 8 answers to this. So I will give you a point for every 2 that you give me. If you get all 8, I guess you get bonus points. You get bonus points in your heart.
Okay.
So in the anime, what main character's Pokemon are seen from hatching it from an egg on screen? There's 8 in total. I need 6. You will get 2 strikes.
If I just keep chanting Eevee, we'll get some points.
I will need to know. I will need to know who's Eevee. But yes, if you. I need the trainer associated with the egg.
Dawn's Eevee?
That is incorrect.
Wait, did she? Okay, now I'm terrified.
That you have one. You have 2 strike or 1 more strike. Yes.
Serena's Eevee, I do know.
Serena, right?
Yeah.
That was not hatched. No.
What? But the whole thing, it was like a baby, and then it was. I remember because I thought it was weird that Quilladin was hitting on the literal infant. No, like
But we're gonna double check to make sure that there wasn't any.
What about Togepi? Right, Misty's Togepi.
Well, no, that would have been our second strike. But like, I feel
we're gonna go ahead. I mean, I'll let you keep answering the questions, but let's see. No, it was not. It was not hatched from an egg. No.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
You have 1 more strike.
Okay, I'll shut up. That was so bad.
Just like a complete flop on the face, right?
Oh wow, yeah.
Okay, so Misty's Togepi. That's
100% one.
That is correct.
Yes.
I'm now panicking because I know that the Riolu was an egg, but I don't know if it hatched on screen.
It did hatch on screen. Riolu is
okay.
Correct.
That's
that is
2.
That is 1 point.
Oh no.
That is 1 point. So you're missing 6.
And we only have 1 strike.
One of them isn't Eevee. You just got completely wrong whose it is.
I know, but now I'm so afraid. Noibat's 1. Ash's Noibat.
Noibat is correct. That is 3. Ash's Noibat.
Okay, we just need 1 more, and I'm like, is it Maze Eevee?
You need 3 more.
We need to get all of them for the point.
No, there's 8 total. I only need 6. You've only given me 3.
Oh, okay. Did Bonsly hatch on screen? No, I don't think so.
Didn't Team Rocket have 1 hatch? I feel like they had something hatched.
Maybe?
And then it attached to James or Jesse as its mom or something like that.
Yes, but I can't think of what it is.
And it was poison, maybe, and that's why it was bad. They've done the gag so many different versions. So what, Team Rocket? Because I know they had 1 hatch. I just can't.
Do we want to just risk it and say Maze Eevee?
Maze Eevee is correct.
Okay.
That is 4. That is 2 points. There are 4 left.
Inkay? Wasn't Inkay maybe the one that hatched?
No, it wasn't. Didn't. No. Oh, okay. Okay. Would you count Lily as a main character?
I will allow it if you want to do that. Yes.
Because she
get 9. That is true though.
She did hatch Snowy.
She did hatch Snowy, the Alolan Vulpix. I'll give you that for 5.
What? Anything? Okay. I don't know. I just don't know.
I'm thinking what baby Pokemon.
Like Brock had a Happiny, but I don't remember if he caught it or not. Like that was a baby Pokemon.
And it must have hatched because of the whole like egg theme with.
I don't think it has to have though. Like I'm pretty sure he had a bunch of babies, but I don't know if any of them hatched. Oh, I do know one. Vampy.
Vampy did hatch. That is correct. That is 6. That gives you the full points. So the ones that you missed.
Okay, good help.
You got, because you got 6, right? So there are 3 that you missed. You missed Brock's Happiny. It did in fact hatch. Dawn's Cyndaquil. And Ash's Scraggy. That is, those are the ones you missed. But you guys got 6 points now. 6 for 4. Go ahead.
Did Eevee hatch for Chloe? Was there another one?
I don't think so. Everybody just gets an Eevee. Not all of them.
Okay. For some everybody, I thought that was a trope, but I'm just completely wrong.
No, they just get Eevees like all the time.
Got it.
like May got an Eevee, Dawn gets an Eevee, Serena got an Eevee. Following that, well, then you got Lana who got an Eevee, and now you've got Chloe with an Eevee. Like it's too many Eevees. Too many Eevees. All right, but that gives you 6 for 4. Your next question is your base stat question, as always. You do have the hint you can use at any time, which you should probably...
Let's use it. That we can't exchange it for a point, so...
So your next one is going to be from Murray. What Dark-type Pokemon has the lowest base attack of all Dark-type Pokemon? And I will give you the free hint that this is a pure Dark-type Pokemon, and it does evolve once.
What even are pure dark types? It's not Poochyena, I don't think. Because that's like reasonably physically. Poochyena or Poochyena?
No, the stat. What we're talking about.
Attack, right?
Attack. Physical attack.
Physical attack. Highest.
No, lowest.
Oh, lowest.
Yeah. And it evolves at least once. So I'm trying to think of like little baby dark types. And Poochyena, Liepard, Rattata.
What about Inky and evolved? It seems to be a low attack kind of Pokemon?
No, it's actually like weirdly high because it's supposed to be spamming superpower with Contrary.
Right.
Impidimp maybe? Fullaby? Oh no, wait, because it's pure, right?
Pure dark.
That was the hint.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a pure.
So that's like Purloin, Poochyena. And it evolves Meowth. Meowth isn't the lowest, because that's, like, reasonable. Yeah.
Alola Rattata?
No, because that's not pure. That's Dark Normal.
Oh, I forgot about normal, yeah.
What's that stupid fox in Gen 8?
Yeah, the thief one?
Yeah, the baby. It's not Thievul. Nickit. Nickit's its name. Yes. I don't know. I feel like it's either Nickit or Purloin.
I'm going to go with Nickit. Because something about me... Purloin's attack is not half bad.
I mean, neither is Thievul's, but, like, Thievul is, like, weirdly split between its special and physical attack. But I don't... Physical. Alright, if you feel better with Nickit, let's go with Nickit.
Nickit is correct.
Oof.
That gives you guys 7 points today. So
somehow
Nickit has a base attack of 28. Next is Galarian Zigzagoon with 30, Alolan Meowth with 35, Impidimp with 45, and then Purloin with 50. So you guys did good there, though. All right, so we are going to go ahead and chalk up those points for you guys. We're going to slap them on the board for you. See where everybody's at. I got to do math in my head. There we go. Okay, so that changes up the standings quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and sort it. In first place, we have Whimsicott with 26, followed up by Lynian with 22 in second place, followed up in third with Seth Vilo with 20 points, Dr. Shamu in fourth with 15, Jushiro in fifth with 14, Claude 9 in sixth with 13, Sublime in seventh with 8 points, PMcKee and Sigma tied for 8th with 7 points, Basket and Mark tied for 10th with 6. On that note, tune in next week to see if we get any more exciting questions. In the meantime, you can go put those questions on our Discord server. So, without further ado, guys, thanks for that. We're going to kick it on over after this short break to the topic. Hey guys, if you haven't already, be sure to head over to Patreon and check out our PUCL Anime Club podcast, where we go over Pokemon journeys, talk about the episodes. You can listen to the commentary real time as you watch the show, or you can just go ahead and listen to our review episode that we do at the end. You just have to go over to Patreon and be at the $5 tier to be able to access it. I think it's been a lot of fun making, and I hope if you decide to go and listen to it, you have a great time listening to it as well. But until then, keep on listening to the show, and you've got a topic to get to. And welcome to the topic. Our topic today is going to be all of that BDSP news and that Pokemon Legends news that we got this week. There's just a lot to unpack here. I'm very excited to go through it. Thankfully, we've got the BDSP news all wrapped up in a nice bow for us. Thanks, dope part to PMcKee. I think the first thing to talk about before we say anything else is that if you do pre-order BDSP, you do get the Manaphy egg. That's like they always have this thing where like if you download it within like the first 2 months, you can get something for free. And that is going to be the Manaphy egg that you can receive through Mystery Gift until February February 21st. You can, of course, do that. And that's like, I guess, small, but the Manaphy egg's going to be there. You can get Manaphy and Fion.
And notably, it's just, you don't have to have pre-ordered it. It's just there.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's not pre-order. It's just like they're like, hey, early adopter, you got it. Hey, please buy it when we count.
It lets them pad their early numbers, but it doesn't it doesn't quite punish kids in the same way a pre-order bonus would, because parents will buy products, but they don't tend to buy pre-orders for their kids.
Yes, so that is true. That is absolutely true. So BDSP is coming out. They announced a lot of cool things. A lot of features coming back that people have wanted. I think the biggest one was always the Underground that we've been talking about has been rebranded as the Grand Underground, which is very exciting actually, because you can go have your little base and you can put statues in your base, and these statues in your base let you go find these new locations in these rooms that will have Pokemon in like the overworld like we've become accustomed to nowadays. And you can find things like, you can find Pokemon that typically aren't in the Diamond and Pearl decks, which I'm pretty sure is what we're going to be stuck to, for the most part in terms of like a decks that you find out in the wild. But this gives you Pokemon that are, in the Platinum decks. Also Pokemon outside of it. We've seen the Lantern in a trailer. We've also seen, Sentret as well in some of the pre-release images. So it looks like a lot of Pokemon that aren't even in the Platinum decks are going to be making a return, and a welcome one at that.
You left out the best part of the Grand Underground. Munchlax is there.
That's true. Munchlax is there.
If anyone's ever tried to get a Munchlax in Gen 4, you will understand why. When I saw Munchlax in that cave, I literally dropped my phone and cheered.
I don't blame you, because like it's like something stupid low chance. If they update the 1%
chance on 3 of the trees that each take 12 hours to trigger an encounter.
You should not try to get Munchlax that way. Just breed a Snorlax.
Except you can't get a Snorlax.
You can't catch a Snorlax. You need to catch a Munchlax. You're true.
It's really awful.
It is absolutely awful.
Everything they've showed about the Underground looked amazing. I have no qualms of saying that Underground was one of my favorite parts.
Oh, it was
Gen 4. I love it. I love having to look for fossils and stuff like that. And seeing it back with so many new features, it's super exciting. And I really, Diamond and Pearl in this direct was like, for me, the biggest event. I loved everything they showed, from the art all the way to the new features. I know a lot of people are excited for Legends Arceus, but man.
So my favorite part, low-key, of any remake is how they try to incorporate like Pokemon outside of their decks. And I'm just a sucker for that. Like Oraz, I love DexNav. I am a huge sucker for DexNav. And this is how they're
the best mechanic that's never returned, and I've been sad it
Absolutely.
It was so
Absolutely.
good.
I've got a video essay for you if you want one.
If there's anything I don't need right now, it's probably more fandom rage, but I appreciate that.
It's actually really level-headed. I found a good one.
Alright, okay.
I will sell it on. It's made me okay with Dexit. So if that's like that's like the video essay did a good job. It's just overall about like the Pokemon company. This is legitimately my favorite part, is stuff like this, where they're just like, hey, this is how you can find other Pokemon. And they obviously like integrated in like the modern mechanics of Pokemon in the overworld in these areas, which I also appreciate, because that is a modern mechanic. And I really like the way Sword and Shield implemented it, where you still had like random encounters in the grass, but also overworld encounters. And I'm glad they found a way to include that here in Diamond and Pearl remakes. So maybe
without
fewer
ruining
people...
the route design.
Exactly.
Let's Go showed how a game not built for overworld encounters is made much worse by them.
Yes. I mean, overworld encounters are a really good idea, and this is maybe something that we'll hit on later, because Let's Go did a very good job of at least introducing that concept to people.
It did a job of it. I would say a good one.
Let's Go did one thing right, and what it did was it let overworld encounters become something that they'll integrate into the normal Pokemon games. It did one thing, okay? That is the credit I will give Let's Go. I will not give any other credit to Let's Go. But I don't know. We can talk about it later. You can also change your clothes.
Yes,
which is something that wasn't included in Oraz. And they're just like, well, yeah, it's a remake. And I said, yeah, it's a remake. I don't really care.
Yeah. It's not customizable like there is in the newer generations.
No, it's more like here's an outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 outfits.
Yeah. And there's only one place to buy them because they're just like, hey, you know how we shouldn't put gambling in our games anymore because we don't want our ESRB rating in Europe to go up?
Yeah.
Peggy,
we're gonna take that game corner out, and we're gonna put some clothes shops there in Veilstone City.
Yeah, I really enjoy, because the one thing I was worried is it would just become like, oh, normal clothing fashion. No, they're all dumb and weird. Like, they're 100% the stuff that video games were putting in the era that Diamond and Pearl came out, and I looked at that, I'm like, this is perfection. It's
great. I appreciate it. I don't know. I think BDSP on top of that's really, they're doing a really good job with it. There's also going to be a Nintendo Switch Lite coming out on November 5th. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's nifty, because they copied the DS that had come out with the Palkia and the Dialga on it for this. I'm like, man, that's kind of cool. And
the cool guy in school had that, and I was always jealous.
I'm like, that's kind of cool. Too bad I don't need a Switch Lite.
Yeah. Exactly. If it was a Switch OLED, we might be talking.
I really wish that if it was a Switch OLED, I probably would have done it. I think Nintendo, and this is Thatch's opinion for how they're handling the Switch, I think they are just missing the mark here, not giving me special edition Joy-Con. Like the Zelda ones that they came out with for Skyward Sword, perfection. That's what they should be doing for everything. Because you know what? I'm not going to go out and buy a Switch Lite. You know what I am going to go out and buy? I'm going to go out and buy some Zelda Joy-Con. Okay? Because those are what that makes the world go round, is Thatch buying new Joy-Con. I will pay $80 to customize my Switch for the game that I'm playing that's hype. I just need that in my life.
The other thing that they did, though, super contests.
Yes.
They look fun now.
Yes.
They took it from a weird rhythm game that didn't really work well, because the best strategy was just to jam buttons so that AI couldn't do it well. It didn't give you like points for going on beat. It was very silly. They took it from that and made it like, it looks like a reasonable rhythm mechanic with some like risk reward stuff with the moves. They made it so that you don't have to have either a battle Pokemon or a contest Pokemon by all appearances. Ball seals now have a mechanical effect in that they increase your score on the introduction stage.
Ooh.
Which is just so cool. I want to play contests. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I want to play contests.
I'm still kind of hoping that there is online compatibility so we can play with friends in contests. I would really love that.
They haven't confirmed one way or another, but they did confirm that the Underground would have connectivity, so they might do it there. I hope we have remote Pothin making, because that's something I have fond memories of. That would be
very nice, yes. I agree with that.
Quit spelling it, you monster!
It would be absolutely great if that were the case. I don't know that it will be, unfortunately. But
I don't think it will be, honestly.
I don't know. I would love to be able to contest with people, though. I think that would be really fun.
Any way that you can just use your Pokemon in any other aspects for the game really is...
Anything outside of battling, I do like that, and this maybe should be said, is that they're not planning on using this as like the main game for competitive either. They made that announcement, and I thought that was very interesting of them to make that as their own announcement, that Sword and Shield are still going to be where ranked play happens. Which is a question I've been having anyway, because we knew this game was coming out. I should also mention, like, just like the community outpouring has been mostly like, oh, BDSP improved since the last time we saw it.
Yeah, it looks better, both on a features level and on an aesthetic level. It just looks better.
I am more excited for these games than I thought I would be, because I'd be like, oh man, it's going to be like a solid, like, this is going to be like a really, really nitty gritty, like, feature for feature remake, because they wanted Ilka to like play it super safe. But now I'm feeling okay. This is on par, I think, with like something like Omega Ruby.
I wouldn't go that far yet, because there were changes in ORAS that I strongly prefer to the originals, where this just looks like an improvement on, not a complete recreation. So I will hold off on the full enthusiasm, but the real feature they unlocked was me caring.
You know what? That's not the wrong answer, though, right? That's not wrong.
Because, like, if you'd asked me before that presentation, is there anything they could announce that would make you excited? I probably would have just told you no. Like, it's gonna be a thing. I'm not really into it one way or another, but I do need to watch it. But afterwards, I wouldn't say I'm hyped. Dexit has killed all concept of hype for me. It just doesn't happen anymore. But I will say that I'm feeling like it won't be a waste of time.
Let's talk about Pokemon Legends. All right. So, Pokemon Legends also got a bunch of news and like a bunch of cool news. Okay.
Right?
Okay. So, let's start breaking this down because this is, oh my gosh, this is like, they did some things that I've been asking for in Pokemon, I think for something like 6 or 7 years. And that is Pokeball crafting exists.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part.
Pokeball crafting went, Thatch is just losing it right now.
I was just like, what? Pokeball crafting? This is exactly what we needed. And they did it. They've only shown the heavy ball.
Yeah.
But I'm perfectly okay with that as well. Like it's, oh my gosh. They let you do that. I think that's the most exciting feature. Nothing else that happened.
Yeah.
No, they did introduce, the region isn't called Sinnoh, which I think is very interesting. I think they did it honestly just to make distinctions.
Mm-hmm. Well, then they could do regionals without
which is exactly
weird questions.
Which is exactly what they did. And I think one regionals is like the best idea they came up with.
Really? And regional evolution only improved it.
Regional evolution helped out because it was just like, yeah, we had these Pokemon and they needed an evolution, but we created Eviolite. But we created Eviolite. Also, I think it's just, I feel like as much as we say, oh, well, they don't need to follow consistency, I feel like a lot of the developers at Game Freak are just like, we thrive on that.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine when they went ahead and they took location-based evolutions and they shoved them to stones in Gen 8, a part of somebody on the inside died. I feel like that happened. I feel like somebody was just like, I feel like some developer was just like, this hurts. And then he went ahead and he made Galarian Yamask. And he's like, you guys try to figure out how to evolve this now.
Slowly stroking Milcery, you'll never leave me.
Yeah. It's like gotta be like one or two guys, right? That are just like really into that. It's been a time. Oh man, they came out with, I think they announced 4 regionals, which are very exciting. And so they announced Weirdeer, which is a regional evolution of Stantler for the Hisuian region. Region.
Looks amazing. Love it.
I need to pull on just like a quick sidetrack on this thing's name. Hisui. Yeah, Hisui. So I have to sidetrack very, very briefly on the coolness that is Weirdeer's name. So obviously weird, like strange, right? But the way that it's spelled, W-Y-R-D, is an Old English word meaning one's fate or destiny. So it's really the deer of destiny, but it also works as a pun because Stantler is strange antler.
Oh, that is great.
So it's a really good, like I saw that thing's name and I was like fist pump. It's perfect.
Yeah, I love.
The names are very good for these new ones.
They did a really good job. It's a psychic normal type. They do talk about it on the official site in the same way they talked about Sirfetch'd, in that it evolves from Stantler in the Hisui region or something like that. So I do believe there's probably going to be a Hisuian Stantler as well, because they have made so far, and this is based on one data point, so it's probably bad to extrapolate from it, but they have shown so far that if something has a regional evolution, it's evolving from a regional variant, not from itself. Which kind of makes sense, because then why weren't, Stantler and Sinnoh eventually like evolving and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
So the Weirdeer honestly is my favorite. I like Weirdeer the most. The one I think that's been getting a lot of love though has been Bascu Legion.
I love it so much.
It is interesting for 2 reasons. One, because it evolves from Basculin that have died, so there's probably going to be a Hisui and Basculin as well. I imagine it's just going to be Purple Stripe instead of. It's just going to be Purple Stripe Basculin, and it'll be Hisui and Basculin. And maybe itself will already be a ghost type on top of that, but I
doubt it.
But they could just make it water. I don't really care.
Yeah.
They could make Stantler like Hisui and Stantler normal type. I probably still wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But I find that very interesting. They did Hisui and Growlithe, which is a rock and fire type, which is probably going to be all of the rage. I imagine the kids these days are going to be like, ooh, Growlithe, and be very excited.
So Seth has introduced me to the horror that he goes, hey, that thing has canonically it's like a rock head. I went, He's like, yeah, so give it Flare Blitz and then the rock one, and it's now a monster. And
then there's also, I think the last one is the Braviary, Hisuian Braviary, which everybody was just like, okay.
Like it inspires no joy nor no disdain. It just you look at it and you're like,
So
Cool.
I find the inclusion of both the Hisui and Braviary and Basculegion very interesting because that shows that they're going to put post Gen 4 Pokemon into Hisui.
In some form, yeah.
Yeah, which is very interesting to me, especially like so I know Jushiro really dislikes Dexit, but I think it would be really nice within a generation to be able to finish out the decks. At least right now with Home, like and Bank possibly getting disconnected at some point. I'm not saying you can transfer it to like Sword and Shield Jushiro. I'm saying you could complete a national dex in Home. I think it would be very interesting if they could like include some of the I think after BDSP, I think you're missing something like 69 nice Pokemon. And
the problem is we don't know how many we're missing after BDSP now.
Oh no, we do. I mean, if BDSP completes does like the 493,
the 493, then
that's
but if we don't,
that's the assumption.
I just want to go up to the top of Mount Coronet and catch a Minior because that feels appropriate.
Yeah, no, I think that's very reasonable at this point. Like I had thought, like maybe that's what they'll do. They'll include some Pokemon like that, especially with like Rowlet and Oshawott coming into those games. I thought it would be very appropriate.
Yeah.
So I would be very interested to see if they do that. I think it's a good opportunity for them to do it.
This is not a typical Pokemon game, so they can go all out.
Oh no, I mean, this game also looks, in my opinion, it looks like it's going to be more Monster Hunter-esque than I think people expect.
Yeah.
In that you probably say, hey, I want to go on an expedition, and they take you to a certain area, and then it's open world in that area.
Yeah, that's really how it looked.
Yeah, I want people to be aware of that. That way they aren't freaking out when they're just like, why isn't it Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
It's because it's an RPG, and RPGs need more linear development. But
yep,
okay.
Yeah, sure. Don't worry. It's fine. We all know. They also changed the battles a little bit as well, giving with this with the new turn order type deal that they're trying to institute. The action order.
I think it looks good. I think it looks cool.
I think it's perfect to do it in this kind of game.
Exactly. I don't want this in the main series, but I like this here.
Yeah. Pokemon has like the franchise itself has like this history of like consistency, which is kind of bad because it kind of shoots itself in the foot in that sense. But at the same time, like you just can't stray from it because it's also what makes it popular, right?
Yeah, I can pick up a Gen 3 game and then minor tweaks aside, I can play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's and that style rolls into their thing like agile and strong style, so you can pound on some Pokemon. I love that the Pokemon were attacking the trainer as well in the wild.
Oh yes.
This is the game that, like, I don't know. This game it hits so many things, like, outside of the perfection that is Pokeball crafting. It just hits, like, this feeling of... They've obviously been trying to make, like, a capture-based game, right? And that's what Let's Go was. Whether people like it or not, that's what it was. It was a capture-based game because you had to catch X amount to get so many candy to help you level up and whatnot. And... that's what they're doing here, obviously, as well. Because, like, they've shown in the Pokedex, like, you need to catch X number to be able to figure out these new things in the Pokedex about these Pokemon.
It's also not just battling. Like, that's what's so fascinating to me.
That's what I love.
Like, hey, it's not just capture. It's like, hey, knock this out with a ground move or let it hit you with Spark. You know, it's actual research. It's really cool. It's
really cool. And I don't know, like, if this goes over well, I hope that this is something that we see as a new trend. Like, I imagine at this point, like, Let's Go is kind of be written off as, like, that was a fun thing to try.
Yeah.
And I hope that they try this and they go, hey, this is a fun experiment that worked. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
Mark and I have good ideas for the later games. You should totally not ask us what they are.
Maybe we should do an episode on that. That sounds like fun. Because like this has gotten me so excited just knowing so much more about it. This is fantastic. Like I'm legitimately excited. Like BDSP is a great appetizer, right? That's the bloomin' onion, you know? The BDSP is the bloomin' onion. And then the main course is Legends Arceus.
I really like the stuff that we're seeing in Legends Arceus about the narrative too, because it seems to be like turning stuff like a little on its head. Like you're on the Galaxy team. You're doing the research, and the leader is very clearly just gender bent but not evil Cyrus.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
And I'm like, okay, this is so fascinating. What are they gonna do with this?
I'm very excited just because it strays from the formula and it does it well. Like it's doing it in an interesting way. It's not where it was just like, hey, let's take the same old Pokemon game you know and love and distort it like Let's Go was.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I do have to say to as a concern is that game doesn't look as pretty as I hoped it would. the trees, particularly wherever they showed the grassy area where they had the trees.
Are you really going the tree route? Okay,
Dude,
okay. You just complained about Dexit to me for like a minute.
Is ridiculous. But
okay, and then you're going to yell at me about the trees.
Could I finish, sir? No, they just seem not that they particularly look bad. It's just that they looked copy-paste. They looked like the same tree over and over and over and over again. And that, I hope that they have enough time from here to the launch next year, early next year, that I have time
I've seen
to
some
improve those, because it really does. It's not a graphic. I'm not a graphics guy. So, and which is why I'm telling you that I'm super excited for, Diamond and Pearl. I just love, that type of animation stuff. But in in Legends, my concern is just the game still looks like it's still in development. And the release is exactly, but the release is early next year, which is what kind of concerns me. So I hope that they are able to improve on the scenery a bit by then.
So it was 7 months ago that we got the first trailer for BDSP, and if you look at BDSP now versus BDSP then, it is graphically improved.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm only saying that I'm hoping that that's the case by the time we get a final trailer for Legends Arceus. And we can see a little bit more polish in the scenery, because everything else I saw in the game, I'm super excited about everything that we've discussed so far. But the game, let's just say that if they would have said late 2020, I wouldn't be concerned. I'm like, okay, they have a year to work this through. It's going to be fine. But when I saw at the end the release date early next year, I'm like, oof, they have like less than 6 months to like polish this the best that they can.
I'm not too worried as long I don't care too much about the visuals as long as it runs smooth-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, my
that's my only worry.
I actually am less keen on. My problem with Legends Arceus visuals isn't the fidelity or the models or anything. It's that it feels, it's like straddling realism and stylism in a really weird way. Like when I see the town and I see all the buildings and the people in it, I'm like, yes, that's good. And then I see the wilds, I'm like, okay, but is this supposed to be like realistic, or is this supposed to be really stylized? Like I can see elements of both, and I don't like that it feels disjointed on the design, like the style level to me, which is not like saying, oh, the models are bad and the textures are lame. Right. It's just like, I don't, as a cohesive unit, it feels scatterbrained, and it's just not my thing. But I am willing to put some good but not incredible visuals aside to deal 100%. With a major gameplay shakeup that seems to be really fun.
No, that's absolutely. As long as it runs well, I don't know that I'll care too much, because I think this is, I don't know, I like the model for Pokemon going forward being something along the lines of a generation lasts maybe 3. I think it should last 4 years, but that maybe the Pokemon company doesn't agree with that because of the money that could be had. And I think it would be, I think if you run it for 4 years though, you could end up with like a Swish like title that gets DLC and updates, and then you can go ahead and dump in something like Legends Arceus, like a Legends game. I'm going to say Legends game, because this so far is looking way more promising than Let's Go ever did.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yes.
This is looking super promising. And I would hope that there'd be another Legends game that iterates on this one. That also, I mean, they're introducing new forms and stuff, and I feel like they would get bold enough to be like, here's a new, entirely new Pokemon, you know, in a Legends game.
I just hope that they, either do it for Gen 5 or an earlier gen, because could Gen 7 or 8 get real complicated if we go back to their past. I really don't want it. Or you know what? Let's not do Gen 5 either.
You're fighting during the American Revolution.
I don't want to play through Pokehontas, okay? I don't want to play Pokehontas. No.
Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's really interesting. I think it's going really I think this is very well done.
Yeah.
And they're adding Pokemon, at least new forms, which I think is probably the way to go. I'd rather have new forms and like regional evolutions than anything else at this moment. The
mid-generation,
yeah, mid-generation. The thing that hasn't been that might be interesting is that they haven't talked about like the evolutions of like Oshawott, Cyndaquil, and Rowlet, and people are just like, maybe they get regional evolutions.
They might.
I don't think that. Okay, you don't touch the sacreds. Okay.
Yeah, that's my feeling.
That's hilarious. You know how many versions of Charizards we have?
Well, that's the thing. There were so many versions of Charizard, but there was such an incredible blowback to not the other two being involved like the last time. I think they've kind of learned they can't play favorites across trios.
Yes.
And the fact that these don't... If they were like, hey, these are all Gen 2 starters, I actually might be convinced that, maybe they'd be doing something here. But the fact that it's one from 3 different gens, I think is a much cooler idea, but I also think it disallows them to do anything else. I think
it's a great idea, personally. I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea because it, I don't know, it shows me that they haven't forgotten them as well. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, like this is Thatch's hot take that like Gen 9 might not happen next year because this comes out so early.
Yeah, I have no idea one way or the other.
I don't know. This could also be just like a COVID artifact as well. Because I could have seen Legends coming out in Christmas time this year if COVID didn't happen, and BDSP coming out in 2020 if COVID hadn't happened. So that's something that could have happened. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know. I would love to see. I honestly, like I said, I would love to see the generation go 4 years because this is just really exciting now. It's really exciting being able to get new stuff like this, and I hope they just iterate on things that we already have. You know, because they already have a Pokemon problem where there's 900 of these guys now. And
exactly.
And so let's not make a lot more. Let's like add in a few regionals and stretch that time out. The only people that are really going to be hurt by this is Pokemon Go, but we already saw in the direct, nobody cares. So
3rd anniversary, Gen 9, both of them.
Yeah, I would just like to see, I would love to see Gen 9 like roll out in 2023 as opposed to 2022. Because I think, obviously, I think they're going to announce something on Pokemon Day, given the release date for Legends, because they purposely made it January.
You know, and they said, so this is one thing. They said that Pokemon Home's connectivity was coming in 2022 for both games.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think is they let Legends Arceus come out, do its thing. Then on Pokemon Day, instead of a new game, they announced bank compatibility.
Yeah.
And then maybe either DLC for one of the 2 games, or they just use it to like say, see you next year. This is the bank compatibility, and maybe like a spin-off for Pokemon Sleep or something like that, where it's just kind of...
So I could see... So I would no longer be surprised if there was transferability back to Sword and Shield with these Pokemon. Like, I don't expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
I think most realistically what would happen is we would have the stuff from Legends Arceus able to be transferred to BDSP. That's where my hopes cap out.
I would like to see it go to Sword and Shield, just so honestly because of competitive, not even for the Dex issue at this point. Because if they're going to try to do another year of competitive, where they've kind of already blown their load on the formats, where they've been like, oh hey, we just had these formats where they're just like Legends are involved and stuff like that. And they're going to have at least at minimum another year of Sword and Shield. And I mean, you add new Pokemon and you put more restrictions on it, right? You just go, hey, here's the BDSP dex. We don't care. You have to use these Pokemon in this dex. I think that's not unreasonable of them to do in Sword and Shield. But we could, I don't know. That's getting into like prediction territory, and I don't want to get too much into that today. I have to save something for another episode. But yeah. I don't know. I'm excited, honestly. Like, I'm feeling good. I was jazzed. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. Mm-hmm. All right. What about you, Lenny? Are you excited?
I was not before, and I wouldn't say I'm hyped, but I'm not pessimistic anymore. I am like I'm being serious. Like, it's funny, but like before I was like, these games, they're coming out. I'll play them. They'll probably be fine. Like that was like my cap expectation was I wasn't gonna hate it, and now it's like, oh, I might have some fun and really get to do some things I have been missing. And
that's true.
I'm feeling good. Do I think these are going to be the best games ever? No. I think they're probably going to be fine. I think Legends has potential to be really fun by being so new. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay expecting. It took my expectations from like a 5 out of 10 to like a 7 out of 10, and I can live with that.
I think that's very reasonable, though. So yeah, that's where we'll leave it. It's going to be exciting. So we're going to kick things on over to the Pokemon of the episode, and we will catch you guys on the flip-flop.
Poke of the episode.
And welcome to the Pokemon of the episode. Our Pokemon of the episode this week is National Dex number 382, Kyogre, the Sea Basin Pokemon.
Its Alpha Sapphire Pokedex entry reads, Kyogre is said to be the personification of the sea itself. Legends tell of its many clashes against Groudon, as each sought to gain the power of nature.
Wonderful. This is a restricted format right now, so you get to play with Kyogre. And Kyogre is probably the one that, if there is a restricted format, will always show up.
Yeah,
it just always shows up. It's one of those base 680s. It's having a good time. I think it's 680 at least. It's 670, actually. It's 670.
Nerf.
It never got nerfed. It was just 670. I think they made like Rayquaza 680 so he could be like the lord over them, because this was the beginning of the real trio nonsense. So we've got base HP 100, base attack 100, base defense 90, base special attack 150, which is already ridiculous. Base special defense 140 with the base 100 HP. That's ridiculous. And base 90 speed. Nothing about this is bad.
The only bad thing is that wasted 100 points on attack.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nothing about this is bad. On top of that, his move pool is very decent in that he gets, typical water and ice coverage with some electric coverage to top it off. Technically, it gets Brick Break. Why? I don't know. It does, though. Also Bulldoze. But we've got a wonderful VGC team for you today, brought to you by Coil over on the Discord server. He's been helping out and putting together some of these teams, so thank you to Coil. So we've got, obviously, the star of the team is Kyogre. This is Kyogre with Mystic Water with the Drizzle ability. Ooh.
Really? I'm so surprised.
It's got 124 HP just to build up the bulk, 252 special attack to max out the special attack, and 132 speed with a timid nature. The 132 speed is to allow it to outspeed Regieleki and Tailwind, which does become important, as you'll see. But this is carrying Water Spout, Ice Beam, Thunder, and Protect. Very standard Kyogre for VGC play.
Yeah.
It is obviously partnered with Tornadus. The idea is you just throw both of them out at the start, and as long as you've got a decent matchup in team preview, you're probably going to do okay.
In fact, you're probably going to do much better than that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that can stop you is maybe a couple fake outs. Tornadus is holding Focus Sash to make sure that it gets that Tailwind off. And it's got Prankster, obviously, with 252 special attack, 252 speed, Modest Nature, Tailwind, Hurricane, because you're in the rain, Taunt, and if you need to reset Rain, you can always do so by clicking Rain Dance for priority. Jushiro had to leave early, and it left myself and Lynian by ourselves. We should have announced that earlier, but we forgot. I'm taking a third one today, who is none other than Regieleki himself. Holding a magnet with Transistor as the ability, 4 attack, 252 special attack, 252 speed, and a hasty nature. He's got Volt Switch, Electro Web for some speed management, Eerie Impulse, and Thunder. I love Eerie Impulse. I love that it moves so much.
I love that it became a big thing pretty much overnight, and I also love that Charm didn't.
Yes. Well, it's because for Charm, that's just attack. There's no Intimidate.
Exactly. That's the difference. So I also like on this team how we've got a Mystic Water and a Magnet.
Yeah, Coil's team building is very straightforward. Like, I really like it for beginner teams.
Yes. You heard it here, Coil. You're just a beginner.
No, he's not a beginner. He's very good at building teams for beginners, but yes.
This brings us to our good supports here. We have the queen herself, Serena. We've got 188 HP, 252 attack, and 68 speed. Mostly just trying to go for bulk here. Serena's defenses are really high if you've never looked at it before. Like, this thing is surprisingly junky. And throwing on a Assault Vest is just going to amp that up even further.
Yes.
Triple Axle devours Rillaboom and Landorus Incarnate, which has been becoming a thing. U-Turn lets you bounce really happily despite having the Assault Vest. Power Whip is just going to hurt.
It's good stab.
Yeah, it's just going to hurt. And High Jump Kick is neutral on Zacian. So, ow.
Yeah. I mean, Serena's always been fun. I love Serena. That was a good Gen 7 edition.
It was. It was a good Gen 7 edition, and I'm only a little bit bitter that it completely invalidated Lurantis.
Yes. Yes.
I'm only a little bit bitter about that.
Poor Lurantis.
Poor Lurantis. Incineroar, because this is VGC, it's on the team. It's got Intimidate, because you're not stupid in running Blaze. Level 50 with 172 HP, 84 attack, 80 defense, 172 speed with a Citrus Berry, Adamant Nature, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, Darkest Lariat. You come in, you cut attack, you click attack, and then eventually you Parting Shot.
Yeah.
You know that meme of the guy who's like really ripped coming in with a belt? It's basically this.
Yes.
It's like comes in, fakes out, flare blitzes, leaves, refuses to elaborate. Very good cat. And in restricted modes, I always thought it'd be real cool if you could bring out 2 restricted Pokemon. And with Ditto, you can.
Yes, you can.
252 HP, 252 defense because it doesn't matter, and 4 speed with Transform as your move. So it comes out, you're trying to grab the opponent's form, and then use your Choice Scarf to beat them. Except here's the thing, it's not a Choice Scarf. It's a Quick Claw. So instead of being locked into a move, you have flexibility at the cost of your speed tide.
I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate Quick Claw.
I find it extremely funny. I don't think it's a great choice.
I think it's fun and mimicky. I think the better move would still be the Choice Scarf.
Yes. The only time I've ever seriously read a Quick Claw is on Galarian Slowbro, where I also had the ability Quick Draw. And it was just like, all right, the distressing amount of the time, my speed stat doesn't matter. So yeah, you got Ditto. I do think it'd be really funny if you gave the Ditto a rusted sword, so when you hit other Zacian, you transformed appropriately.
Oh no! That would be hilarious, actually. I'm not against that. We need that.
Notably, however, if you transform into Zacian, which gives you the +1 attack stage. Then it triggers Intrepid Sword, giving you another +1 attack.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there's the pro tip.
Hashtag pro tips with Lynian.
Hashtag pro tip. Intrepid Sword is a very weird ability. And you can exploit it for fun and profit.
It's so dumb. I hate it.
Well, we can't give it huge power. What do you want to give? Oh, like half a huge power. That'll be fine. So yeah, copy your foes. Take their stat changes if they Dynamax. Run against them. At the same speed, but maybe not because Quick Claw.
Yeah. This is a fun team. I mean, you can obviously try it out. We'll make sure it's in the Discord server for you to grab. You can also go ahead and get a shiny Kyogre if you're a patron at the proper level. We'll be giving those out this week as well. So, also, if it's not up, please just, slap me on Discord. Just be like, Thatch, it's not up. And I'll be like, yeah, you're right. I need to do that.
just slap him on Discord. Do not go to his place of work and physically assault him.
Well, you're going to have a hard time getting to my place of work, but...
Do not ambush him on the way to his place of work.
Yeah. It's, yes, do not do that. It's a good time. Please do that though. If you want to get a hold of those, we're going to be giving away the shiny Kyogre this week. Also, because I forgot to set up the shiny Xerneas, there'll be a shiny Xerneas this week as well. So definitely check that out. Also, remember Patreon, if we hit $800 a month, we're going to be doing a week long of giveaways every month that we're at $800 a month for the general public. So you guys can, and you guys get to choose what we give away. Mm-hmm. The patrons, that is. So definitely keep that in mind. We're almost there, actually. We're pretty close. So, on that note, we're going to kick over things to the mailbag.
It's mail time! Send in your emails! Mail!
And welcome to the mailbag. The mailbag is a part of the show where we read your emails on the show. Send them in to us at puclpodcast@gmail.com. We typically have a prompt for you. Last week, our prompt was, what do you think is going to come out of the Pokemon Presents / what are your feelings on the Pokemon Presents? We're also going to have those obvious questions again, like how are you feeling about BDSP and Legends Arceus again this week. I am very excited to hear what your takes are on it. But as always, this segment is brought to you by the energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves. Hooves. I had to fill in. So I never get to say it, guys. Okay. I never get to say it. So on that note, let's jump into this first email. We'll give the Green Tauros badge to everybody we think is worthy. But our first email this week is from Chaos Amberstar. Dear Thatch and co-hosts, or one co-host, because Jushiro had to bounce very early. We apologize. Howdy, I'm Chaos Amberstar, and a listener for a few months now, first-time mailbagger, and I love your content. Keep going, you guys. Now, before you get too off-topic, back to the mailbag, or before I get too off-topic, back to the mailbag. I thought they were blaming me, and that's a very reasonable thing to blame me for.
It's true.
I've listened to other podcasts, though, and I know we're not the worst. I wanted to take the topic to heart and try to predict beforehand. Personally, I think they're going to announce new Pokemon as it happens. I don't think any Mega Evolutions are going to be added. Gigantamax forms would be more likely because I think Generation 8 might be the generation for Dynamax, where both new games and remakes use that feature, kind of like Generation 6, where both the new game and the remakes, the former games, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, used Mega Evolution. I also think they'll answer the question of ride Pokemon versus HMs, with the decision being to ride Pokemon due to their use so far, except for Sword and Shield, which they got the shaft and got neither. Lastly, I unfortunately don't think they're going to add any former games onto the Switch, because they would have already done it by now, I think. I would still want it to give me my red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal, and earthbound. All the same, I'll be checking the Pokemon Presents as I look forward to the next episode and your guys' reaction to it. Thank you guys for all you do, Chaos Amberstar. Yeah, they didn't do any of those things.
No. Well, they did I guess they did new Pokemon.
Yeah, okay. The thing is, like, this is like, all of those expectations were incredibly reasonable, by the way.
They were. And
they were all very reasonable.
I don't want to point and laugh at people for getting things wrong, because, like, I was wrong.
There's no rules. There's no rules anymore.
But like, it's endearing that those were reasonable expectations. They weren't met, but I don't think anyone's angry.
Yeah, I don't think there's much anger in the community about what's going on, other than like the subset of people that are probably upset there's no Battle Frontier. Yeah,
and like I have a friend. Oh boy, he hates Pokemon now. Like just modern Pokemon in general. He's very disillusioned. But like after the trailer, we had a conversation, and it was the first time he didn't call me a professional shill for like 2 hours. He was reasonably positive about what had happened.
No, I think the problem that Pokemon had is just that it wasn't very transparent, and maybe not intentionally so, in that they were still trying to figure things out. Because they had kind of created this problem for themselves where they had like way too many Pokemon, and like trying to keep doing that over and over again was going to cause an issue. So I don't think they figured out how they wanted to handle it. And I think how they're handling it now is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Like, I honestly think this is a very exciting time to be a Pokemon fan as they try to, like, in the post-exit timeline, where they, like, I want to say they're remedying, but they're definitely, like, coming up with solutions to make everybody happy. I'm very excited for it.
If they're going to continue to make the decision that people don't like, at the very least, that isn't the only decision they're making.
Yes. There needs to be equivalent exchange. There needs to be some equivalent exchange.
Oh, now I'm just thinking of that Full Metal. This is not the law of equivalent exchange.
It needs to be
sitting in the
exchange.
basement.
But yes, I don't know. Like, I think these are all reasonable, and I think what we got would exceed my expectations if those were my expectations. I for one am happy that I did not see Dynamax and Sinnoh.
When they saw the underground and went, all right, when's the raid?
Yeah, like, where are they going to show the raid den?
Yeah, like, that was legitimately my thing. I was like, oh, that's a clever place to put the raid den. Like, that was my legitimate reaction.
I'm really happy that they're kind of going with the, hey, this is a Galar mechanic, and we're going to keep it in Galar. I really like that. I think if we would have had a remake during Gen 7, they would have done the same thing with Z-Moves, where Z-Moves would not have gone to the other region. Because those are a very Alola thing. And so
yeah, those were so tied to the setting, it'd be disingenuous to remove them, honestly.
Absolutely. So I think it's I'm very appreciative we didn't see Dynamax. I am very appreciative because the last thing I needed was like Gigantamax forms for the Gen 4 starters or something, and just to be a little sad on the inside.
Yeah.
But thank you for that, Chaos Amberstar. Our next one is going to be from Fairy King Nova. You're trying to get this one.
Yeah. Greetings, my darling Puckle people. After not submitting an email for quite some time, I am back. After all, Sir Thatch has given me a challenge. I'm currently writing the first part of this email at 10 p.m. the night before Pokemon Presents, bringing you my hopes and dreams of what we won't see. For BDSP, I would love to see something that will confirm the inclusion of either Pokemon past Gen 4 or at least the Platinum decks.
Hey.
I would also love for Megas to come back as well, or maybe some regional forms. Speaking of Legends, Arceus, I would love nothing more than to see Pokemon from the past take on new forms. I like to see Rotom before the invention of the light bulb. I'm also curious about Fairy-type Mons. They didn't exist in the original Sinnoh, so that will be something to consider. Well, real quick, the thing about Fairy-type, they didn't exist in Oras. In
Hoenn.
Yeah, it was in Oras. It is silly to expect them not to be in this. Don't worry.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, so the Pokemon present came and went, and I'm left feeling good? We did get info.
That's kind of how I felt at the end. I'm like, I'm surprisingly happy. I'm surprisingly not disappointed. And in fact, I am more excited.
I have never felt the line, his heart grew 3 sizes that day, more viscerally.
Yeah, right?
Than I did at the end of the Pokemon Direct.
I feel like all of us went in with like such low expectations. Like when we're just like, I think we're just like, they're just going to show us Sinnoh and Legends will be like, okay.
And even the like stuff that was just expected Sinnoh was better than I thought. Like when they started playing the Galactic theme and it slapped so hard. It did not need to go that hard, but it did. Okay, to continue reading. We did get info on BDSP about the inclusions of Mons in the game you normally would not be able to obtain in the OG games, which is good.
I know, that's fantastic. That I was looking, and when I saw the lantern, I was so happy.
I didn't recognize the lantern, but I about lost it when I saw the Houndour.
But that one's in Platinum deck, so I wasn't like...
No, I know, because that one, I didn't realize that Lantern and Nummel weren't in the base game. Yeah, they weren't in the base game. Yeah, or they weren't even in Platinum decks, because that's what I was doing the entire time. I'm like, okay, show me a Pokemon that's not in Platinum decks or in... I just didn't know what they were. So anyway,
yeah.
Meaning now I can now have a Fire type that's not a starter or a Ponyta. No Megas or forms, which is disappointing, but I think I'll live. I think overall BDSP seems to trip down memory lane and not much else. Though I am excited about the return of stickers. Legends Arceus really ramped up my excitement for me, and with the new Mons and all sorts of side tasks, I feel like I'm getting sucked in for hours upon hours. Did you see the Wurmple looks different than in the main series? It might even have a third branch evolution. I wouldn't go that far, but it does have a new spike, which is weird.
It does have a new spike. Thatch? Have you seen it? Yeah, I have seen that. I saw that, and it was very
weird.
So somebody brought up, okay, so I dug into this way too deep. The spike on Wurmple, this is a very dumb thing to do.
So if you're going to talk about the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire pinball game.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It existed back then. It had the spike then.
But not in the sprite. It was just in that spin-off. It was a sprite error.
Well, okay. So I'm wondering if this is just an update to Wurmple's design. Because we saw Beautifly in the trailer. We saw Beautifly. And it looked the same. I mean, I could see there being a potential third evolution they want us to go look at, or maybe for some reason Dustox looks different or something. I don't know.
I think for me, my conclusion with the Wurmple Spike Gate is just that I think that they're going to do a couple of very minor aesthetic tweaks to Pokemon, and then they're not full regions. It's just things that were bred out over time, Yeah,
no, that's what I imagine. I'm just this is just what a Wurmple looked like back then, I guess.
We also just got a new, this isn't an accident. We just got new Wurmple models in the new route in new Snap. So clearly this was a decision they made. So I'm curious to see what it is. I'd like for Pokemon to look just a little off.
I'm not against this. If it was just Wurmple just has a spike now, and that's it. And that's where it ends. And they're just isn't that cute?
Yeah. I think the battle style is neat and would be an interesting way to spice up the series. Anywho, I've been taking up a bit of your time, and I hope this email finds you well. Until next time, Fairy King Nova.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a third branch. It would be kind of cool if there was.
I wouldn't care. I would be
no,
cool.
That's how I would feel. I'd be good job, Pokemon.
Unless it was super interesting and cool, but even then, I feel knowing it would have a base stat total of 430, it's just
Yeah.
It's difficult to get interesting.
If we hadn't seen Beautifly, I'd probably be more on that trip. You know what I mean? Be like, oh, maybe that's Hisui and Wurmple for whatever reason. But
we'll finally get the Dustox variant that was in Clara's hair.
I really just want them to go ahead and give me, like, I hate when they announce, like, regional evolutions and then they don't show the regional Pokemon beforehand, because then everybody's like, I can't wait to evolve the Stantler I've had since I was a kid. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, like, you're not wrong, but then you look at, like, Marowak and
that's different.
Raichu and
that's different.
Weezing.
Those are different. Those are different because those aren't regional evolutions. Those are just regional variants, right? Those are regional variants of Pokemon that already exist.
I don't know if that they anyway.
That's the way it's been working so far. That's what I'll bring up. That's because Mr. Rhyme came from a Galarian Mr. Mime. Obstagoon comes from a Galarian Linoon. Sirfetch comes from a Galarian Farfetch. I mean, they're very careful about that because there's that guy who made Galarian Yamask, and he's like, we gotta have consistency.
If this wasn't a a time displaced story, I would be 100% with you. So far, I'm about 90. Like, there's enough wiggle room. I could see it changing. I
could see it being like Hisui and Stantler. So I can see it being like a cop-out. And it's Hisui and Stantler, and it looks like barely different than regular Stantler. And it is barely different than regular Stantler, but like it's got a yellow spike on the back of its head, like the Wurmple.
It's just, that's all of the baby Hisuian form. It just has the Wurmple spike. The plot of the game is there's actually a Wurmple cabal evolving all of these Pokemon, and you remove their magic spike.
But by technicality, it will be Hisuian. Like that. By technicality, it will be Hisuian. Only because they've been very good, at least thus far. If a Pokemon's in a game, all of its forms are in that game.
And that's why I really hope these Pokemon evolve from babies of that type.
Yes.
Because that means anything that has forms later, if it follows the Sword and Shield, will be able to get every evolution.
Yeah, no, that's why I was very happy when Obstagoon was announced, like, oh, you can get it, you have to have Galarian Linoon. And that way, it's not like, oh, they evolved in this region. It's like, no, Stantler from this region evolve into this. It's not the region that's doing it.
It'll fix the weird Executor problem, where you can't get that.
I mean,
we
have the same problem with Weezing, right?
Exactly. Weezing going forward is going to be messy.
They're just going to do the weird trade things again. That's all they're going to do. They're going to do the weird trade things.
I just wish there was. I wish you didn't have to do it for
solution.
Or like ways you could breed it. There was a PTU podcast that for their games had Alolan Sand and Galarian Tea.
Oh, I like that.
Which was just a held item that let it evolve into that version when they had it.
Listen up, Pokemon Company.
I don't remember. I can't even remember which show it was, but I was like, that is such an elegant solution.
That's a very good solution. I like that a lot. Oh, all right. Well, let's move on. Let's do this last email. This one's going to be from Tia. This is going to be, hi, Lynian, and Lynian? I guess that's like 66% true now, right?
So to explain to people what's going on, we normally have all of the hosts on the sign-up sheet, but I was the only one signed up for today. So Jushi hopped on to fill it out. Yeah. But because sometimes we have to plan for when Thatch is going to be absent, there'll sometimes be 3 names. So if you don't know what's happening and you just look at the sheet, it just looks like I'm the only one hosting the show.
Yeah. It's just going to be, this is just a one-man show now. And
then, man, did you choose poorly?
Tia is writing on a hot summer evening. I realize it's late, but I haven't found the time or energy to think about my hot take. I recently transitioned to a new position at work, not to mention I am bummed my arm hurts. Oh, I'm sorry. It was when I was listening to the episode that I thought about my hot takes. So first about competitive, I think something should have been banned early or else become too important to the metagame, like Stealth Rock. How was this move unchecked for 15 years? Sure, we have boots now, but this move locks so many Pokemon to unusable or situational. It's by far the best entry hazard, and does not require multiple turns to set up like Toxic Spikes and Spikes. It should have been banned a long time ago. I don't agree with that, because I think it allowed for like a new form of play.
The other thing is, there were a lot of ways to get rid of it that you probably shouldn't dissuade. And boots exist now, so it's fine, and not even run on every team.
Also, if you start banning moves, like that was when they first did it. Like Smogon wasn't in like the ban the moves movement that it is in now, where it's just like baton pass, no, and stuff like that. So
Stealth Rock. I mean, they're banning things because they become important to the metagame is different than because they skew the metagame.
Agreed.
So like Dracovish completely warped the metagame around it. Whereas Stealth Rock became an important give and take. That's different. I
mean, you do chew up a move slot for it, and I don't think it's as bad as people like to make it think. My favorite thing is it made Charizard worse, and I'm okay with that.
So I also think that comp is weird because the game is not balanced for 6v6.
Oh, it's not at all.
And how you play a lot more BSS and VGC than I do, Thatch. How bad Stealth Rock?
Oh, it's barely used in either of those, right? It's used occasionally. It's used occasionally in BSS. And that's only because you're just like, well, this Pokemon only has 3 good moves anyway, and you're just like, might as well get some chip.
Okay.
Break a sash, maybe. My second hot take is that in mainline games, the thing that gives life to the game isn't the gym battling and the challenging the Elite Four, but the other things. Stopping the evil team, doing contests, catching bugs, talking with people and learning things, exploring random caves, the Safari Zone. It was just the extra things that made role-playing as a Pokemon trainer exciting. It showed me that there was more to being a trainer than mindlessly battling gyms. Well, yeah, I would agree with that.
My critique is that that's not a hot take.
Yeah. That's a pretty...
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. I
think that's a lukewarm take.
That is the core appeal of the franchise.
And for a hot prediction, I think they'll show Megas for Gen 2 and Gen 4 starters. And new forms of Palkia and Dialga. They wouldn't know. Mega Meganium is going to be a monster in OU with its new triage ability and fairy typing. You know, that's the best idea I've heard about Meganium in my entire life. So, I think it should. It should. See you all in Sinnoh, Tia. Not just Sinnoh now, but also Hisui. I hate that name.
It is not easy for English speakers to pick up that pronunciation, I will admit. Hisui.
Chop suey. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. So that is going to be it for the mailbag this week. Thanks, you guys, for writing in. We really appreciate it. If you want to write in next week to us at puclpodcast@gmail.com, let us know what your thoughts are after all of the news from BDSP and Legends Arceus. I am excited to see what you guys have to say about those. So, Green Taurus Badge, by the way, I honestly think Fairy King Nova. Honestly, because the problem was you and I got stuck alone in a room together, and we tend to talk. And it made it last a very long time. So
I think Fairy King Nova, I was actually gonna recommend him in general. I think the pre were very reasonable, and the post was a good analysis that was neither intolerably into it or extremely pessimistic. So
yeah, perfect. So Fairy King Nova, you win. Ask us for the badge if you don't have it already. If you want to catch up with us next week, or not next week, but if you want to catch up with us another way, check out our socials over at Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. You can also, of course, come to our Discord, most importantly, at pucldiscord.com. We really like hanging out with you guys. It's always the best place to unite, do some things. Check us out on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepuclpodcast. I'm going to try to get a better schedule together because I've been doing Tuesday nights, but I want to try to add an extra night where I do like retro stuff, like I was saying at the beginning of the show. So maybe we'll go ahead and get that on the schedule. We can also, of course, go ahead and follow us over on YouTube at youtube.com/puclpodcast. We've just been posting old streams in the podcast, but maybe something in the future. I don't know yet. I'm still working out if it's worth doing or not. You can also, of course, go on over to Patreon to help us out at patreon.com/puclpodcast. We really appreciate the support. And like I said earlier, $800 a month, we're going to go ahead and open up giveaways to the whole community that the patrons get to choose. So I'm very excited to see if we can get that done. So until next time, guys, I am going to go ahead and call it a day. I have been Trainer Thatch.
And I've been Lynian.
And I've been Jushiro. And here in the Levittown Radio Tower, it's closing time.
It's closing time in Lavender Town. Time to say our goodbyes. It's closing time. flip side.